must help them. They can stop the war on their tracks and allow us more time. But to go close to their lines is to damn ourselves. They only know violence. It matters not. We cannot succeed without the Sith Eye's distraction. Your will is my command. The Orruks are regrouping near the abandoned castle of Groth. They have made their intentions known to the previous occupants by smashing their skulls and hanging them in their primitive necklaces. Their brutality has increased tenfold ever since they arrived at this desolate place. As natural as that may seem to the common folk, it's not that often that they feel this out of control. The secret to this boosted rage sits under their feet. Another lost artifact from a lost era of heroes. The Crimson Vault is said to contain the remnants of a titanic beast that once chipped one of Khorne's horns. This tiny fragment has led to a series of inexplicable massacres and is attracting more and more forces of destruction into this region. To the Idoneth, it's a great opportunity to hunt large prey. To the Lumineth, the artifact must be found and used to better protect the long columns of Vanari reinforcements that travel through this region towards settlers' gain. This has allowed common cause between the Elven kin.
Blazing through Gloomtide should be easy thumping. Never trust a pointy ear. Bring me trouble, crossing thought.
The Orruks yell and stomp their feet, creating a huge cloud of dust. Their animosity quickly spreads among the green ranks like wildfire. Hello there. The entire Orruk host stops and turns around. Lothann's heart races, his whole life playing in the background. This is it. The battle tactic is gaining momentum. The Megaboss activates heroic leadership. The Loreseeker activates finest hour. The War Chanter activates violent fury on the Gorgruntas. The War Chanter activates violent fury on the Gorgruntas. The Megaboss activates Mighty Destroyers on the Gorgruntas, the Brutes, and himself. The Megaboss casts Mystic Shield. The Loreseeker activates Redeploy. The Megaboss fails to deal any damage to the Loreseeker. The War Chanter fails to activate Get 'em Beat on the Maw Crusher. The Gore-Gruntas deal 3 damage to the Tree-Revenants using the Gore-Grunta charge ability. The Megaboss activates Stomp, dealing 3 damage to the Loreseeker. The Megaboss finishes off the Loreseeker. The Gore-Gruntas activate All-Out Attack and the Inspiring Triumph. The Tree-Revenants activate All-Out Defense using their Martial Memories ability. The Gore-Gruntas finish off the Tree-Revenants. The Gore-Gruntas activate Hunt and Crush. The Ironjaws score 5 victory points. The battle tactic is an eye for an eye. The Thrallmaster fails to activate Heroic Leadership. The Megaboss activates Heroic Leadership. The Idoneth activate the Warlord Battalion Extra Command Point. Lotann activates Fount of Willpower on the Thralls for +1 to run and charge. The Soulrender casts Steed of Tides. The Soulscryer, the Soulrender, and the Reavers Deep Strike. The Thralls activate at the double. The Gore-Gruntas activate all-out defense. The Reavers deal 3 damage to the Gore-Gruntas. The Reavers activate all-out attack. The Reavers deal 7 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Soulscryer deals 3 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Thralls activate forward to victory. The Soulrender finishes off the Gorgrunters. The Soulrender activates Rune of the Surging Gloomtide. The Idoneths score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is an eye for an eye. The Megaboss fails to activate heroic leadership. The Soulrender activates their finest hour. The Megaboss casts the great big green hand of Gork on the other Megaboss. The War Chanter activates Violent Fury on the Gorgrunters. The War Chanter activates Violent Fury on the Megaboss. The Megaboss activates Fasten. The Megaboss activates Mighty Destroyer on the Gorgrunters, himself, and the Megaboss. The Thralls activate Redeploy. The Megaboss deals 2 damage to the Thralls. The Gorgrunters take 1 damage from deadly terrain. The Reavers activate Unleash Hell and deal 9 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Megaboss takes 3 damage from the deadly terrain. The Gorgrunters deal 2 damage to the Thralls on the charge. The Megaboss activates Stomp, dealing 6 damage to the Reavers. The Thrallmaster activates Akhelian Fighting Stance, Way of the Vortex. The Megaboss activates all-out attack on both units of Gorgrunters. The Gorgrunters finish off the Thralls. The Gorgrunters deal 1 damage to the Reavers. The Thrallmaster finishes off the Gorgrunters. The Megaboss finishes off the Reavers. The Gorgrunters activate Hunt and Crush. The Gorgrunters deal 2 damage to the Thrallmaster on the charge. The Ironjaws score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is Cunning Maneuver. The Thrallmaster activates Strike at the opening, but does not deal any damage to the Megaboss. Then fails to activate Heroic Leadership. The Megaboss activates Heroic Leadership. The Soulrender casts Purple Sun, but it is unbound. The Soulrender activates at the double. The Gorgrunters activate all-out defense. The Reavers deal 9 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Megaboss activates Smash to Rubble on the Gloomtide shipwreck. The Thrallmaster activates Way of the Riptide. The Thralls activate all-out attack. The Megaboss activates all-out defense on the Gorgrunters. The Thrall deals 10 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Gorgrunters deal 8 damage to the Thralls. The Lotann deals no damage to the Gorgrunters. The Soulrender deals 5 damage to the Gorgrunters. The Soulrender activates Lure Light on the Thralls, returning 6 models. The Idoneths score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is This One's Mine and Cunning Maneuver. The Megaboss activates Finest Hour. The Soulrender activates Strike at the Opening and finishes off the Gorgrunters. The Megaboss fails to cast the Great Big Green Hand of Gork. The War Chanters activate Violent Fury on the Brutes. The Megaboss activates Stomp, dealing 3 damage to the Soulrender. The Thrallmaster activates Way of the Vortex. The Megaboss takes 2 damage from Deadly Terrain. The Megaboss activates All-Out Attack. The Megaboss finishes off the Soulrender and deals 12 damage to the Thralls. The Thralls deal 2 damage to the Megaboss. The Soulrender activates Lure Light on the Thralls, returning 5 morals. The Ironjaws score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is Revenge of the Namarti and Desecrate their lands. The Thrallmaster activates Heroic Recovery, healing 1 wound. The Megaboss fails to activate Heroic Leadership. The Soulrender fails to cast Purple Sun. The Reavers activate All-Out Attack. The Megaboss activates All-Out Defense. The Reavers deal 6 damage to the Megaboss. The Megaboss activates Stomp, dealing 2 damage to the Thralls. The Thrallmaster activates Way of the Riptide. The Megaboss activates All-Out Defense. Lotann, the Soulrender, and the Thrallmaster deal no damage to the Megaboss. The Thralls activate All-Out Attack. The Thralls deal 4 damage to the Megaboss. The Megaboss deals 2 damage to the Thrallmaster, 3 damage to Lotann, and 2 damage to the Soulrender. The Soulrender activates Lure Light on the Thralls, returning 6 models. The Idoneth score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is Squish the Punny Gits. Megaboss activates Heroic Leadership. The Thrallmaster activates Strike at the opening and deals 2 damage to the Megaboss. The Megaboss casts Arcane Bolt, but it is unbound. The Megaboss activates Mighty Destroyer on the brutes and on himself. The War Chanters activate Violent Fury on the brutes. The Reavers activate Redeploy. The War Chanter fails to activate Get 'em Beat. Lotann activates All-Out Defense. The Megaboss finishes off Lotann. The brutes activate Forward to Victory. The Megaboss activates Stomp and finishes off the Thrallmaster. The Thralls activate All-Out Defense. The Megaboss activates All-Out Attack. The Megaboss finishes off the Soulrender and deals 7 damage to the Thralls. The Thralls finish off the Megaboss. 2 Thralls flee to Battleshock. The Ironjaws score 2 victory points. The battle tactic is a matter of honor. The Soulscryer activates Heroic Leadership. The Megaboss activates Finest Hour. The Reavers deal 16 damage to the brutes. The Soulscryer deals no damage to the brutes. 2 brutes flee to Battleshock. The Idoneth score 2 victory points. The battle tactic is Desecrate their lands. The Megaboss activates Heroic Leadership. The Soulscryer activates Heroic Leadership. The Thralls activate Rally, bringing back 3 models. The War Chanters activate Violent Fury on the brutes. The War Chanter fails to activate Get 'em Beat. The Thralls activate all-out defense. The Brutes finish off the Thralls. The Ironjaws score 4 victory points. The battle tactic is gaining momentum. The Soulscryer activates heroic leadership. The War Chanter activates their finest hour. The Megaboss activates redeploy on himself and the War Chanter. The Soulscryer deals 1 damage to the Brutes. The Reavers activate all-out attack. The Reavers finish off the War Chanter. The Brutes deal 2 damage to the Soulscryer. The Megaboss finishes off the Soulscryer. The Idoneth score 5 victory points.